What you are looking at is some video coming out of southwestern Shikoku where Typhoon Halong made landfall during the early morning hours on Sunday. This video shot by videographer James Reynolds, just showing you the very, intense wave action that was being seen up and down the coastal areas. But what we have also been looking at today is the heavy rainfall. It's the latest warnings from the Japan Meteorological Agency as of 11 a.m. JST. Heavy rainfall emergency warning still in effect for my prefecture. Heavy rainfall and landslide warnings also in effect across much of the Hokuriku region, the Kinki region, and throughout Shikoku. We have actually people advised to evacuate due to the storm system across much of Kochi Prefecture, Tokushima Prefecture, and throughout the Kii Peninsula. One person has died because of the storm system in Iwate Prefecture, a 70-year-old man, and we have also seen over 20 injuries occurring from this. But I think the biggest threat thus far is this sudden rise of rivers. I mean, we have been seeing record-breaking rainfall and damage to homes out here throughout the past 48 hours. Actually, let's take a look at some of the rain totals from the Japan Meteorological Agency. Course of the past 24 hours, one area in Kochi Prefecture, 862 millimeters reported in a 24-hour period. This is definitely record-breaking rainfall out here. The past 48 hours, 1,073 millimeters reported. That's well over 40 inches for those of you using the empirical system. And even into the past 72 hours, upwards about 1,081 millimeters of rainfall reported. This, needless to say, has been resulting in flooding out. Which is actually coming from public broadcaster NHK. That's where I actually work at Monday through Friday. You can find me on air there. Just showing you the reports of flooding out here. The Shimamoto River there in the southwestern Shikoku, where videographer James Reynolds actually has been reporting sudden river level rises. We've also been seeing that across northern portions of Shikoku and through the Kii Peninsula. As far as the good news and some shining light, the storm has been downgraded, now a severe tropical storm via the Japan Meteorological Agency as of 00 UTC. Winds now at 111, gusting up to 157 kilometers per hour. We did have some mixed reports earlier on today, and I do want to mention that we had one location into eastern portions of Shikoku report sustained winds around 150 kilometers per hour. Clear that up and thank our friends from iCyclone for really gathering some more information on it. That was recorded at an observatory which was on top of a hillside, well above the normal elevation where you typically record winds, and the official estimates of winds on typhoons are made right at surface. They're about 10 meters high. This was about 100 meters up and off the ground on top of mountains. So we've seen that 151 kilometer per hour sustained winds, but the higher you go up in elevation within a tropical system, the faster the wind speeds are, and that's really what we did see out here. So now the storm system is a severe tropical storm, but the winds regardless are not the big threat coming out of it. Still going to be the rainfall across parts of eastern Shikoku and over through the Kinki region. We can see an additional 300 millimeters of rain, but even farther towards the northeast and around the Nagoya area, the Japan Meteorological Agency is actually expecting about 400 millimeters, and into the Tokyo area, the Kanto Koshin region, about 250 millimeters could be seen. And we've already been seeing these rain bands stream on shore. Radar that we actually showed you earlier on, just showing these rain bands. There's your center of circulation down here towards the southwest, right in the inland sea at this time, starting to make a second landfall there into Honshu. We have those rain bands wrapping around. This is where that heavy rainfall has been continuing to occur. Really, I did mention that about 300 millimeters still could be seen in Shikoku, but I think for the most part that's slowly going to be tapering off as we go through the rest of the afternoon hours. And then off there towards the northeast, you have that rain continuing to hit these areas, and then even some heavier bands pushing across the Tokyo region, and that's that 150 I was talking about. Actually, tornado level 2 warnings were issued for the Tokyo area here during the, actually as of making this update, they're still in effect. That's why they're showing up here on the radar imagery. This is indicating that not a tornado is on the ground, but we do have some strong cells out here that possibly could produce a weak tornado. This is actually a common thing when you're talking about tropical systems, and that threat is definitely still there. It's not just for Tokyo, that's the highest population being affected right now by that, but also over towards the Kii Peninsula, some of these rainfalls hitting the mountains and creating enough instability in the atmosphere, producing some tornado level 2 warnings over here as well. Right now, the bulk of the rainfall, definitely all of it's on the eastern periphery of this storm system, really just showing these characteristics of a tropical system getting wrapped up into the westerlies. A lot of vertical wind shear acting on this, not to mention the mountains over land. So the storm system is going to continue to weaken. A lot of this over here is just low cloud coverage, nothing really into the higher cloud tops off on the western periphery of the storm system, and really dry air continuing to filter in across western portions, extreme western portions of Honshu and most of Kyushu. The rainfall is over at this time. The rest of Japan definitely continuing to deal with this storm system. We have that rainfall pushing over western Honshu. We also have a stationary boundary stretching off here towards the north and towards the northeast, and that's going to be basically acting like an anchor, pulling our storm system along. I know the last several days we've been talking about possible tropical storm strength winds into far eastern Russia, looking more and more so like that could happen, but the rainfall is going to stay off here towards the east because of that interaction with the upper level winds continuing to stream in from the west. Plus the bulk of the heaviest rainfall is definitely going to be out here as we go into basically Monday across northern portions of Japan and Hokkaido. I'm not saying it's going to totally miss far eastern Russia, because there is still that threat as our storm system pulls across the Sea of Japan, but it's definitely going to be losing all of its tropical characteristics. The bulk of the precip on the eastern periphery. Really, this is going to be turning into more of a cold core low. We're going to have a cold front set off here down towards the east and a warm front off there towards the north, and that's going to be allowing the storm system to gain some extra tropical characteristics. If you're out in the ocean here into the Sea of Japan, I'm sure it doesn't matter. Actually, we're going to be seeing about 30 to 40 foot high waves coming off this storm system, very well possible out there, so definitely a very serious situation. As far as down towards the south, though, as we go through the rest of Sunday, conditions are going to slowly taper off by the afternoon and the evening hours if you are out here across Shikoku, the Kii Peninsula, and western portions of Honshu, as I mentioned before. But Tokyo still expecting those scattered showers to continue to push through at least into Monday, once that storm system really lets go of its enhanced inflow coming in off the Pacific Ocean. So that's the good news with that. But we're just going to see that precipitation off here towards the north, and eventually it's going to impact off there even farther into Russia. Alright guys, that is all for right now, everybody. We of course are going to continue to keep you posted on everything going on out here into the western Pacific, not just with our typhoon Halong, but also Genevieve, which continues to steer its way on off towards the north. This storm system, let's not worry about it. It is what I like to call a fish storm, meaning only the fish or possibly some lost sailors are going to be directly impacted by that. Otherwise, not much else going on outside of the monsoonal enhancement across the Indochina Peninsula. We've been seeing those showers there for you. And across the Philippines, actually hot and dry recently. There's nothing pulling in the monsoon, so conditions been remaining rather sunny out there for you. Alright, that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can always post them there in the comment box below. Alright, stay safe out there.